Welcome home all, and Merry Christmas. It is the 25th of December, and so I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I want to do a Christmas special actually on the Christmas day, and this is the first time I'm able to do it because I got a producer that's giving me some of his time on the tough day, right? You know, it's not easy to get people to give up, you know, their holidays, but holidays and trying to do more, trying to grow waits for no man or woman. And so, like I said, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. We did something of a Christmas special last year when I was on radio only, and it was not on the holiday, but now I am. And I think going forward, I'm always going to want to do something on that holiday. I mean, let's face it, let's do the skinny here. The cold hard reality is, for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, you're not actually busy doing something throughout that entire day. Well, at least not you guys. Maybe the ladies are. I don't know. I'll speak for myself. We're slobs, right? But it's 2, sometimes 3 days, depending on when the holiday lands. Because depending on your job, your work, your career, you probably end up getting, you know, multiple days. So that maybe you got the Monday, and then you got Christmas Eve and the Christmas Day. Maybe you get the day after Christmas. I don't know. It depends on what you do. Fortunately, for some of you, you have the ability to take additional time where you get more days off than just the immediate holiday. But again, all that being said, it's rare that I don't know about you, but I go through those days and there is time to do other things, not just, you know, kick back with the family and do things with the family. We do that. Eat, obviously, watch some movies, because that's kind of what we do, and that's what tonight's all about. And you know, you might be able to scratch away an hour or two, and that's quite literally what I'm hoping tonight that you're able to do, and then over the next day or two, because we're going to have quite a bit. So before we get started on tonight's show, and I posted a little earlier, so tonight's show is the SuperMex Christmas movie special, to be done every year. So what I do is I take or view and recommend movies to you that you should be watching or that you should be passing on to your kids, grandkids, etc. if you're that old, right? If you're old enough. So it's some stuff, some film, short, long, early, late, 40s, current, everything and in between. Movies and cinema that are good for you, but in my concern is that are good for our kids and our grandkids and for generations coming. I really think that's important, that we pass on, you know, a good view, a good look, and a good movie. A good movie telling a tale about this wonderful time of the year, the time that everybody should be agreeable, if at the very least, minimum of courtesy, and the ability to spend time with loved ones and share goodwill, and spend time and energy being and thinking outside of yourself, outside of the self. That's the way I kind of see it, and we'll flesh that out as we go through our list. So tonight I'm going to have a list of, and so this is kind of tricky. So I put together, and I started doing this a few years ago, right? And I started saying to myself, how are we going to do this? So some are staples. They're just movies Christmas comes around and you know you got to watch it, right? Just like Easter. Got to watch the 10 Commandments. I'm getting old school on you. Some of you younger guys, you don't know so much, but those are just staples, things that you just have to do because they're like the example, the exemplar of that time period or topic. And so that's kind of how I feel for Christmas. And I want to make sure that we are getting out Christmas to those people out there that maybe have not seen some things, maybe because they're not old enough, or maybe it just slid by and they didn't get an opportunity to do so, or they don't show them as much anymore because there's so much to view on TV and in cinema. There really is. You have a wide buffet to choose from in terms of your viewing pleasure. Quite literally, quite a lot. So we're going to have today 20, and I'm going to make that work all within an hour. Work with me now. But 20 movies, 20 films that are good and good examples of Christmas and the Christmas holiday. But in my perspective, again, it's not necessarily a top 20 list or a countdown. It kind of is, but it isn't. But it's a list of movies and film that you should watch if you haven't already, and that you should make sure your children watch and those around you watch and grandkids, etc. And some of them you'll see for the obvious reasons because they're older and you don't see them as much anymore. Or they're older in the method in which, they're out. I mean, some of the cartoons that we're going to have for you from the 60s are classics, absolute classics. But the average kid today wants to see some crazy CGI business that is just off the charts technically and graphically, as compared to an old school cartoon from the 60s, right? So that's where the disconnect happens, and we want to bridge that gap, and we want to make that connection again so that a little guy growing up today gets to see Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original. And even though it may not be state-of-the-art, cutting-edge CGI, the message and the story are great. And they'll get lost. And that kid will never have seen it if parents and adults don't give them that opportunity. You see where I'm at? Excellent. Okay, so a few things before we get started. I'm a little more done today than normal. At most, the worst case for me is you'll catch me in a coat and a decent shirt. I try not to be too flip about what I wear. I'm not going to roll up in flip-flops and a t-shirt. Try not to. Maybe there'll be a time of season or a specific program, a specific show that is designed for that. Maybe we'll have a surf show, I don't know. Something like that, right? But for the most part, it is the holiday season, and I went a little bit extra to make sure that you understand that I give a damn about the time you spend with me and the time you give to me out of your day. So I went and I bought this little critter that I'm wearing today, hybrid tux, and I've got a couple more for next week going into the new year. So a little bit extra for tonight because it's Christmas, and I did a little bit more to convey to you my thankfulness to you for watching the show and for giving me your time, especially on a Christmas, okay? So I will do this. So the place that I got this from is where I will be getting all my clothes from now forward. And I've been wanting to do this for a while. I'm a little difficult to fit. I've got a bit of a, in terms of the size, right? In terms of the size, I have a wide chest and shoulder area, back area, but my arms are not as long as what you would normally get. Say, so for instance, if I wear a 44, 46, I have to get a short in the sleeves. If I don't, then it's gonna hang down to here and it's gonna look funny. Okay, so normally what you would do for my length, I'd have to go do like a 40, 38 or 42, and that won't come anywhere near buttoning. This one I can actually button, right? But I'm bigger through the center up here. Thankfully not too much, below center, but in my core and above. I'm a 44, 46 in chest, and so I have to have the sleeves always altered. And so the place that I'm going to now for my clothes are going to do the alterations, and hopefully, well, actually, it's going to happen. They're going to begin to custom fit me to make sure that I get the fit that I need, because my body type or what I need is specific, and I can't do something, that's just off the rack. I mean, that's what it boils down to. So it's I just cannot buy off the rack like other people can. Just not going to happen. So without any further ado, the place that I'm buying or that is outfitting and sponsoring me in a way, because we're going to begin plugging, their business. It was or is Sam's Men's Tuxes and Suits. It's an old gentleman who's been around a long time and literally learned it like the old journeyman way. He's a master craftsman in terms of tailoring, and he set up a shop in Clovis, California, and he has his own place and his own location from which to sell tuxedos and men's suits. So now it's being taken over and passed on to his daughter, Seta Pearson, the daughter of Sam. And so been serving the Fresno, Clovis area for over 30 years. Yes, that's 3 decades. Second generation, family owned and operated, continuing to serve her community. Full alteration services available for men and women's fashions, and also retailing new men's suits and tuxedos, located on Clovis Avenue near Old Town. Always look dapper. On Instagram, always dapper 559, at always dapper 559. So what we're going to do is, going forward, we are partnering now with SETA and always dapper 559, formerly Sam's men's suit and tuxedos, and they're going to be one of our sponsors, and we're going to put together a commercial for them, and they're a partner. That's why I'm looking at it that way. So I am going to have commercials, advertising, but those are partners. I don't do things with people to take their money, to make money. I do things with people to help them build and grow with me. And that's where we're going with this particular business. That I think is kind of cool. I liked it immediately. It's a little different. I tinkered with either going with the white shirt or the black. I'm a dark guy, so I went with the dark, and here we are. But all that being said, Sam's ends, tuxes, and suits, and being handed over, and I really dig on that, you know, family owned and operated, 30 years in operation. Sam is now retiring or semi-retiring and handing over his business to his daughter, Seta, and she is really aggressive and hungry, and she's going to do things to grow their business, and I want to be a part of that, because I want to see them grow. And there's nothing better than seeing somebody do their thing, doing it successfully, and building something unique, if not beneficial to the community as well. And we've got a lot of plans on how we're going to roll that out. So officially, they are now my official tailor for SuperMex Nation. So SuperMex is official tailor. So there you go. And we will have more in terms of commercials information that I put out on my air and on my network, so that you guys can patronize them. And I'll do this. If you want a tux, especially guys, really, especially guys, if you want a tux and you're in the Central California area anywhere, the quality is great, prices are affordable. They do everything they can to get somebody in a suit. They want more people buying and renting, or I think they sell all theirs, but they want more people buying their suits, and they are affordable. A guy like me back then, no way I can afford something, but they're making it reasonable and able for more people to get into a tuxedo or suit. I think that's cool. That's helping your community, by the way. So there we are. All right, so let's do this. We're going to get down to business. We got a lot to get to, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm going to flip a switch over here once we get toward the back end. So it isn't necessarily, at least for the first 10 or 15 or so, but definitely by the time we get to the back end of the SuperMex's greatest Christmas movies all time that I recommend that you watch and that you pass on to sons, daughters, grandkids, etc., friends, and maybe you're watching some tonight or yesterday or through the break or through this holiday season all the way into New Year's. Some of you are probably watching them. I've already watched a few of them again because you need to, right? But I highly recommend these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the title, and then I'm going to give you the year. So you'll know what they are. And then when I get home, I will post on SuperMex Nation and on the page, on the Facebook page at least, probably on the Twitter page as well. I will post the full list for you guys so that you could take a look at these. Some of you guys probably have already watched most of them, if not all of them. I'm asking you to share those movies with coming generations. Some of them are needed to be shared because there's not as many good ones. I mean, I don't have that many from this current decade. To be honest with you, I'm looking at it now. I don't think I have anything from this decade. The latest maybe is 2000s. But either way, let's hope they make some more, and then we can alter the list. Okay, so without any further ado, at number 20, 1996, the movie is Jingle All the Way. Jingle All the Way. So it was Arnold Schwarzenegger. You had Sinbad, holiday season. You had two dads fighting over a holiday toy that they wanted to get for their son or, their family, and just crazy hijinks. And I'm going to say it, this was like, people forget that Arnold Schwarzenegger did funny stuff too, right? I mean, who could forget Twins? I mean, Twins was funny as all hell. All right, Twins, Jingle All the Way was funny. He did other movies that were comedic and pretty good. Expanded him, himself as an actor. It wasn't just, I'm going to shoot you and blow you up with my AK. but he did other things. And this one's really funny. Sinbad's a great comic anyway. He's a great comedian. And so Jingle All the Way, 1996. All right, got that. So that's Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger lead. Okay, 1969, number 19, 1969. Going back a little bit, okay, but this is like one of those originals, and it isn't very long. I think it's like 30 minutes. It is kind of a flick. What I'm looking at here is standalone items. They're not a series. They're not an episode in a series. It's a single one-off movie, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer. This one's not very long. They didn't make them that long back then. It's only now you get The Irishman 3.5 hours, all right? You couldn't do that back then. There's no way. There was only TV and only a handful of channels, and you got what you can get to get your material onto the screen, small screen. So Frosty the Snowman, 1969. Frosty the Snowman, the original Frosty the Snowman cartoon. Got to check it out. Great song, Frosty the Snowman. I don't want to sing all that, but you get the point. Great movie, great feel good for kids. I remember it growing up. They always played it this time of year, Christmas, and you can guarantee that you'd be able to watch it on one of the networks, probably on the weekend, but it was always around this time, and they would play these cool cartoons because of the time of year. And I always watched. I'm guilty as charged, but Frosty the Snowman, 1969, my number 19. Okay, number 18, number 18. This is actually the latest, or the most recent that I think I have on my list. No, I have one a little later. Okay, we'll get to that. So this is close to it. So 2004, The Polar Express, with multi-Academy Award winner Tom Hanks. And it's a great story. Like all of these are great stories, right? It's not just Christmas. It's a good tale, a good crafting of a message trying to be delivered to you in one form or another in this animated feature. But the CGI, or the animation on Polar Express, I mean, that was really, really cutting edge in 2004. It was like, whoa, that is crazy realistic. We're not talking about cartoons anymore. We're talking about, really, really lifelike animation. This was one of those building blocks to get to where we are now, where some of this stuff looks like it's almost real. The live action, or the live animation looks almost alive, like it's an actual real person. So 2004, The Polar Express, Tom Hanks. That's 18. Number 17, we can go back again, and this is also a cartoon. Now I'm going to cheat a little bit. For those of you guys that were with me roughly a month ago, we do Thanksgiving, always do Thanksgiving, and now I've packaged that and I made it Thanksgiving/Native American. But we do Thanksgiving, and I gave you some movies to check out for the holiday season for Thanksgiving. Now I'm giving you one that is a return from that time, at least in the characters. These are classics, all right? These are classics. Make your kids watch them. So this one came out in 1965, Charles Schulz, A Charlie Brown Christmas. All right, just like there was a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, there's a Charlie Brown Christmas. And you can't go wrong with old Chuck. The messages are simple. You get them, you watch them, cool. You got Snoopy, you got Woodstock, you got Linus running around with his blanket. You got Schroeder playing the heck out of his piano, and Lucy, snapping that football away right before he's about to kick it. They're giving you a lot, right? But it is a Charlie Brown Christmas, 1965. Make your kids watch it if you don't yourself. Okay, moving up, live, 1988. We are at 16. There you go. Thank you, KP. We are number 16, 1988, Scrooged. And I went back and I've watched an old video of mine covering this material, but Scrooged with the D on the end, E-D. It was Bill Murray, and this is Bill Murray in the 80s, coming off of, and at a time when Bill Murray was like, he was on fire. That guy was really it. We're talking about Stripes. We're talking about Caddyshack. We're talking about, I think even Ghostbusters was right around that time too. So Bill Murray was on fire in terms of what he was doing after he had left SNL a while earlier, like a decade earlier. And his body of work through the 80s and then into the 90s it started to change, not just from the usual comedic, crazy hygiene antics and all this other, but he started to go into a variety of different fields, not just comedy, but he started to experiment, tinker with drama, and to the point now where nobody will mistake Bill Murray for not being a serious dramatic actor. He is that too. His body of work illustrates that. But at that time, coming out of the 80s, after SNL, then into the 90s, zeros, etc., he began to expand and explore, and he became something much more than just the funny guy. I'll always know him as Eddie Murphy. Saw that on the weekend. Bill Murray, funny guy, some of the greatest comedy flicks all time. And then this one was Scrooged, 88. And it was a different look at Bill Murray, but a damn good movie. It was a not so traditional take on the, A Christmas Carol and Ebenezer Scrooge, Ghost of Christmas Past, etc. It was just an updated version of an old tale with Bill Murray as the lead in 1988. 1988, Scrooged. Okay, let's go to the next one, number 15. All right, simple and easy. Okay, some of you guys are you're going to start saying, shouldn't that one be a little higher? It's a preference and a choice, right? But I did like the movie. It was great, and it spawned an entire series of movies immediately thereafter. But 1990, and it gave this kid, became a household name and a career. Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin. And you guys know the story. In multiple, shows and multiple Home Alone after the original. I don't know if they thought that was going to do as well as it did. They put together a hell of a list of, good actors and a good piece, good written work, good story to tell. And I'll say it, Joe Pesci as the lovable, bumbling criminal with his crime partner, the other guy, I always forget his name, but that guy was funny as hell too. So Joe Pesci, not in The Irishman, let's hope he gets a nod for that because he was hellacious in The Irishman. But Joe Pesci with Macaulay Culkin and a bunch of other good actors in Home Alone, the original Home Alone, the first one, that was in 1990. And then a bunch of movies came after that, Home Alone 2, etc. It's good when they're going to have to do more because you had such an audience that loved it. All right, so that's number 15, 1990, Home Alone. All right, let's bump up. 1994, number 14. 1994, we're going to The Santa Claus with an E on the end. Tim Allen, 1994. Tim Allen, at this point too, was he had really torn it up in terms of home improvement, household name, in terms of, the national audience, not just for him, but for home improvement. Exactly. And the Tool Time Girls. Hey, who can forget that, right? The Tool Time Girls. But Tim Allen, 1994, The Santa Claus, and then that one also. That, hey, there was a method there, definitely coming out of the 80s where, and this goes back even further, but my point being is that there were movies out of those 80s that spawned entire lineups of multiple films after it. The Santa Claus was one of those. There were multiple sequels after that after it did real well. They liked it. But it's a good tale. It's about a different type of Santa, a different look. And I still think we're still going to probably get some more of those over these next few years going forward. Different looks at Santa. I think there's one out right now. There's going to be one out. If I'm not mistaken, my daughter, Anna Kendrick ends up playing Santa or something like that too. So you're going to get some females that are Santa Claus, and I'm telling you, it's going to go wide open. There's a lot of places you can go. So this one is 1994, Tim Allen, The Santa Claus. Claus with an E. You like that, right? There you go. Okay, number 13. And this one, I mentioned this one right at the top of the hour. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964. The original cartoon. The original cartoon. So I'm going to tell you why I loved it so much. They're all cool cartoons. You watched them when you were a kid growing up, for those of us that were old enough. But, Rudolph was about this reindeer that had this funky nose, and he was ostracized, couldn't play those reindeer games, That spawned a whole bunch of other, including some social constructs and wording and language, word mechanisms. I use them. I won't play your reindeer games. Anyway, so Rudolph, because he was different, was ostracized and made fun of. Where am I going? I think it's obvious, yes? I was a little different. I was scrawny, little, didn't have any money, poor sucker that grew up in a trailer. It was not easy. It was not easy. I was different. But, like Rudolph, I didn't feel different. I didn't understand why I was treated different, but I knew there was something for me. And so Rudolph ends up being the story of when Santa really needed something and there was an emergency crisis and crisis averted was Rudolph and his red nose saving the day, because he always and ultimately did have a purpose and a place. And that's a great story. If you can't get with that, there's something wrong with you. But that is a great tale, and it's a great story. And it's a great story that I think all kids need to see, for those kids that are out there that don't know what they have in terms of place or position in a society, if not in their own backyard, their own neighborhood, their own school especially. Get them to watch that movie. Get them to watch that little flick. I mean, that one's only like, I don't even think that's an hour. I think that's less than an hour. But just really cool. It's like, for those people that are different, that may feel different and treated differently, there's something for you. There's place for you. There's position for you. There are others that will appreciate you. You just got to find it. You just got to find it. So Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, 1964, the animated original, all right, 1964. All right, what are we up to? Number 12. All right, we're going to get into some meat here now. Okay, so this one, I mean, I know I'll have some people, and probably within my own house, that want this one higher. Because we watch this damn movie every year at around this time, and sometimes just for the heck of it, right? We watch this movie every time of year once we roll around to Christmas. So 2003, Will Ferrell and Elf. It is a funny damn movie. I mean, Will Ferrell is a funny dude anyway, okay? But you got James Caan, you got him, you've got a great supporting cast, good story. I think Ed Asner plays the Santa Claus. Some of you guys don't even know who the hell Ed Asner is. So if you're old enough, you do. Okay, but Ed Asner, that old coot, still kicking and doing good stuff, but he's a Santa Claus. And it's just, again, a revamped take on the Christmas tale, the Santa tale, and elves for that matter. And it's save the day. You know, this guy who's, matter of fact, it's almost like the Rudolph thing. Buddy the elf, played by Will Ferrell, is different. I won't give away too much. Some of you guys know what I'm talking about. There you go. But if you haven't seen it, you need to go see it. Buddy the elf is different than all the other elves. Some of you guys are chuckling already because you know exactly what I'm talking about and you know why. But Buddy, because of his differences and because he is different, manages to save the day and save Christmas. Specifically because of the fact that he is different than all the other elves, and he finds what is good for him, where his place and position are. Really cool story. And then again, really funny, great music, good comedic timing. James Caan, I mean, underappreciated and underrated as in his comedic ability. James Caan is funny. If you watch enough of his movies, you're going to find the guy's funny as hell. If you get the right movies to watch, right? He's not just Sonny Corleone. He's a hell of a lot more. Okay, so that was number 12, 2003, Elf with Will Ferrell. All right, 1989, number 11, 1989. I'm going to run back a little bit. Another one, kind of a must-have, a staple at this point. Another SNL alum, Chevy Chase, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That movie was funny as hell. You could sit there and watch it, like, again, crazy hijinks, battling families, the lights you can see from space, competitiveness about Christmas, all the crazy stuff that you know we do, but that we need to make a little bit more lighthearted, inject some levity, not be so serious, not be so, this, and especially right now. Let's get that straight. We can definitely use some of that right now. There's some people out there a little too wound up, if you know what I mean. They're about to bust some springs, a little too wound up. This kind of movie, it is for that. It is for that. It's to take the edge off the difficulty of life and the things that you are, the competition, the competitiveness between friends or what should be friends and neighbors, and make light of it. And then get to the end and everything's all good because it's Christmas. And when it's all over and done, it's Christmas, damn it. It's a good thing. And it shouldn't be a bad thing, and it shouldn't be about competing with each other and seeing who can do what and who can one-up or whatever, or who gets a better gift or who spent more money. It's the spirit and the season of giving. That's what it should be about. So, okay, so that's SNL alum Chevy Chase, 1989, National Lampoon's Christmas. Where are we at? Number 10. We are at 10? We are at 10. Okay, let's take a quick break there. I'm going to get something to drink, and I'm going to finalize my last lit. We're doing good on time. At a half hour? All right, I'm on business. Okay, you guys stay right there. We're going to cut to a quick break. We're going to come back, and we're going to finish up in the top 10 SuperMex's all-time Christmas movies and films. Okay? We'll be right back.
Try again, never thought I'd give love another chance. What's the point? It always ends. Try to fan the flames and you get left with ashes. And you came and changed my mind. Now I could start a fire with everything I feel for you. No one in this world has been able to do. You make me feel brand new again. I could start a fire, sparks fly and I come undone. Your hands on my skin and the feel of your touch. Too much is never enough. I could start a fire. I was all but ashes, nothing left but ember smoke and a little heat. Burning out, giving love a little bitter and a lot of beat. But you made me want start a fire with everything I feel for you. What no one in this world has been able to do. You make me feel brand new again. I could start a fire, sparks fly and I come on my skin and the feel of your touch. Too much is never enough. I could start a fire. Ooh, yeah. I could start a fire, sparks fly. Start a fire. Saw you sitting there across the room, your black leather jacket and your cowboy boots. A shot of whiskey and a cigarette, the kind of night you know you wake up and regret. Eyes meet and you make your way over, one kiss closer to another hangover. Another shot of you and suddenly the room spins. Do you wanna come over? We can finish what we started, regret it in the morning. You can be my Johnny Walker, feeling kinda heady, a little unsteady, cause I'm one kiss closer to another hangover.
It was here we go again, soon as you walked in the damn girl jeans and hey boy grin. You were working hard, working it to work on me. I threw some cash down and bought a few drinks.
Eyes locked in and you make your way over, one kiss closer to another hangover. Another shot of you and suddenly the room spins. Do you wanna come over? We can finish what we started, regret it in the morning. You can be my Johnny Walker, feeling kinda heady, a little unsteady, cause I'm one kiss closer to another hangover. To another hangover, another shot of you and suddenly the room spins. Do you wanna come over? We can finish what we started, regret it in the morning. Be my Johnny Walker, feeling kinda heady, a little unsteady, cause I'm one kiss closer to another hangover. Another shot of you and suddenly the room spins. Do you wanna come over? Finish what we started, regret it in the morning. You can be my Johnny Walker, feeling kinda heady, a little unsteady, cause I'm one kiss closer to another hangover.
All right, guys. Okay, good couple videos. That's our group, Aubrey Road. Listen, I'm in negotiations. I'm in talks, hoping. I messaged him earlier, and he responded back. He's going to see if he can do it. I'm trying to get Austin Reed from Aubrey Road. He is in town to visit with Mom, and that's cool. Good young dude, taking care of moms. We're going to try to get Austin on air, if not tomorrow, then maybe by Friday. Now watch this. And we're going to do the top 10 country songs of the year. Top 10 country songs of the year. Tomorrow, most likely, we'll flip, but I'll let you know definitely by tonight into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, it'll be the top 10 songs of the calendar year 2019, okay? And then hopefully if we can get Austin, again, I'm going to remind you, not just because he's in this band Aubrey Road, but because Austin and Brianna, the young gal, his other half in Aubrey Road, they are currently and actively engaged in Nashville, doing their thing, singing, performing, entertaining. And so you're not going to get much better than that in terms of what they hear, what they're seeing, and what they're exposed to in terms of the music. So all things go well. Excuse me. Hopefully we get Austin on air and up by Friday, and he can help me digest. I know some country, but I'm not an expert on it. And as usual, you know the deal. My ego is so massive that I'm entirely comfortable with somebody else doing their thing. So I freely and liberally go cheat and use other people to help me do some things to make it better for you. Make it better for you. Not going to sit here pontificate and try to sound like an expert when I've got people that are there, or I know friends and family and relations and etc. that are in the middle of it, which makes it a better show for you. So hopefully we get Austin, hopefully by Friday. And if we do so, then Friday's cheap date night will morph and alter into the special, the top 10 country songs of 2019. Tomorrow, the top songs in general, pop for the most part, top songs of 2019 tomorrow at this time going forward. And so we're going to have a special every single night going into the new year. A lot of wrap-ups, ladies and gentlemen. I'll stop there for a second and just make sure we're sinking this in real nice and deep. We have to wrap up the year, 2019, and SuperMex is wrapping up with a nice little bow, the decade of the 10s as we head into the 20s. Okay, we're wrapping up a decade. When 19 closes out, that is a full decade of the 10s that we've finished. So we have a lot to cover and a lot to look back on, a lot to be thankful for, but a lot to point out as well. So we'll do that in the traditional form that we've been doing in terms of entertainment for SuperMex Nation. We will talk about the best movies, the best songs, the best artists, etc. And I'm going to lay out a full schedule. So I'm telling you right now what's coming over the next few days into the weekend as we get ready for the new year after this Christmas holiday. We will do the best songs, 10 best songs of the year, and hopefully by Friday with Austin, the 10 best country songs of the year. And then I've got more planned going into next week, and you're going to have a lot of fun because I'm doing a lot of work and a lot of research to put these lists together so that you get a little bit out of this year and this decade. Okay. All right, so we're back. I hope all you guys are having a good time. So we are down now to the top 10. The top 10. Do like flames and stuff. When we get real high speed, I'm gonna blast you like Gandalf, right? Actually Gandalf doesn't blast, but no, the Emperor does. Unlimited power. All right, so top 10 Christmas movies all time, according to SuperMex. And movies, I'm going to say again to reiterate, movies you need to share, not just watch if you haven't watched them already, but if you haven't, you should go back and watch these movies. Where have you been? Top 10 movies to watch and share and pass along, move forward with new generations, your kids, your grandkids, etc. I guess let's do it this way. There are some movies on this list. If your kids have not seen them, you ain't doing a good job as a parent. You are not doing a good job as a parent. Put that on you, right? Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. You get the understanding of the point. They're good, and you want to pass these along so that we don't lose them. There are a lot of good things to watch and look at for the message, for the meaning, for the things they're trying to convey to you about the Christmas spirit and the Christmas holiday that you should pass on. Okay? So, let's get down to business. Number 10. Number 10. All right, you guys, I lost my thing here. Hold on 1 second. I lost my feed. Get back up. And there we are. Oh, I got some more people jumping in. All right, so thank you guys for being here, those of you that are here. All right, so number 10. Here we go. You ready? Number 10. You're going to like this. The Muppet Christmas Carol. Now check this out. 1992, The Muppet Christmas Carol. So kind of like Charlie Brown, kind of like some of those old school cartoons, even Sesame Street, stuff that we grew up with, that I grew up with, and other generations grew up with on weekends, especially Saturday morning cartoons. Come on now. Saturday morning cartoons. Some of us literally lived for the weekend to get to Saturday morning cartoons because we had to watch what our parents wanted to watch all week. And then when we got around to Saturday, we could wake up in the morning and watch cartoons before our parents put us to work. So number 10 is The Muppet Christmas Carol. Came out in 1992. Go check it out. And listen, the Muppets have, a body of work covering all kinds of things going back decades. All right, but The Muppet Christmas Carol is funny as hell. Get a look at that. And I'm going to guess that some of your kids probably don't even know who the hell the Muppets are. Your grandkids may not know who the Muppets are. Educate them, SuperMex Nation. Educate your kids and grandkids on The Muppet Christmas Carol, 1992. That's number 10. All right, number 9. 1966. Watch this one. KP's going to chuckle. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. All right, so watch this. There are multiple and varied, meaning in the look and the technology of the distribution of the film. You have live, you have Jim Carrey, you have different types of animation, not just cartoon, but claymation, as I was reminded right now. But there's a whole bunch of them having to do with the Grinch, okay? I'm not saying any of those are bad or that are not worthy of being on my list. What I'm doing is giving you the original because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a history teacher. Got to go back to the original. Go back to the original and then go check out all the other ones too. But remember where it came from. That's all I'm saying. And you could like whatever you want. I mean, Jim Carrey was funny as hell as the Grinch. That was freaky to me. It was freaky funny. Not Freaky Friday, but freaky funny. The Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas in 1966, the original. There's some good stuff in the 60s. Some really good stuff in the 60s. That's when they were barely beginning to play with the technology in television. I mean, they didn't have anywhere near what we're capable of today. Nowhere near, light years behind. But they were beginning to experiment. I mean, who can forget in the early 60s Star Trek? I mean, that was like totally unheard of. And I don't know how to picture the little image of, you know, the Enterprise on a black background. We don't want to talk about it. But this is when these things are beginning to happen, these cartoons, claymation cartoons, etc. So 1966, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, that is my number 9. Check it out. Or at the very least, make sure your kids and their grandkids check it out. All right, let's move on. Number 8. All right. One of my all-time favorites already, 1993. And it's kind of scary that it was 93. 1993. Because we're looking at 26 years ago that this was made. And in 2023, we're going to go on 30 years. But I want you, and I'm going to tell you why. You're going to know what I mean. The Nightmare Before Christmas introduced us to Jack Skellington. Now, who the hell is that? Jack Skellington. That is one of my all-time favorite holiday characters, period. Period. Because there was nothing like him before that time came. It was a total flip of what the Christmas season was and what it meant from an alternative perspective. And then you got a whole bunch of others coming out of that. I mean, you've got, you know, The Corpse Bride. I can go on and on. But Tim Burton, dude's a genius. The guy, you know, he really is. I don't like tossing that around too much. But at least within the context of film and movie making and directing, the guy's a genius. He has done things that no one else has ever done. And he's singularly unique in his approach to conveying his images and message in the form of his film or movie. All right, The Nightmare Before Christmas. It's still a great flick. You can still watch it now. I think from now on, like the Halloween to Christmas, that period in between, that got all morphed with Jack Skellington. Because if you know Nightmare Before Christmas, it's like Halloween, Christmas, what the heck? Trust me, go watch the flick if you haven't seen it already. The Nightmare Before Christmas, 1993, Tim Burton. All right, we're getting into some crazy cool stuff here. All right, ready? Number 7. Again, another flip of traditional script. I had never seen anything like it. I hope I don't see anything like it ever again, even though they did do a number 2. Take that back. They did do a number 2. 2003, Bad Santa. Bad Santa. Billy Bob Thornton. The dude's a good actor, but he was never as good as playing Willie as Bad Santa. That is okay. So for those of you guys out there, I say to pass this on to younger generations. Make sure they're not too young, because that's a dirty flick. That's a dirty flick. I mean, not like pornographic, but, well, getting there, I guess. But lecherous, dirty old perv, right, who plays Santa Claus. And he's a crook, a criminal, and everything in between, trust me. Secret, snipe. The gal who plays Lorelai from the Gilmore Girls is also, she's the love interest in it. And then quietly, sublimely, some people forget that Granny in Bad Santa was the all-time great Cloris Leachman. Cloris Leachman. Cloris, that is an acting icon. Still around, still doing business. Still doing business. I'll never forget Cloris Leachman in Young Frankenstein. All-time great movie. All-time great movie. All right, I'm dating myself. Too bad here. But Bad Santa, I will say this. In my family, everybody knows Bad Santa. My boy and I grew up laughing, chuckling, joking, and quoting from Bad Santa. I don't want to go too far. Just hysterical lines out of Bad Santa. Just crazy, funny lines. All right, 2003, Billy Bob Thornton, Bad Santa. All right, we're huffing around. Okay, where are we at, KP? We are at number 6. Now, I'm going to catch some heck from you guys. That's okay, though. Bring it. I included this movie kind of like by literally the arm twisting. I always make a note, and some of you guys know this that have been with me a long time. I always make a note in my lists and in my look at things to try to have something for everyone. And I can tell you right now, for those of you guys that are watching and those of you that will watch over the weekend and into next week, because I always get a big following and watching after I do the show on the crazy hours that I do them. But I can tell you right now, this wasn't mine, but it needed to be included in this list because I include something for everyone, and this is quite literally what I was about to say. My lists almost always include something for everyone. There's something on this list that everybody here likes or that may want to go take a look at. There's something you know, something you've seen, like, oh yeah, I remember that. That's cool, that's good. Or something to remember maybe that you forgot. And now I'm adding to that to give you things that maybe you haven't seen, but you need to. Because I'm a super big tent guy. That's SuperMex, all inclusive. So here's the movie. The Holiday. 2006. 2006. They're like, what's he grunting for? All right, The Holiday is like a mega cast of A-list actors and actresses and a mega approach to the holiday season and a mega chick flick / love story. There you go. I got it out. See how you like it? They quite literally had to pull it out of me. It is a mega chick flick / not just one love story, but like a whole gazoo of love stories. I don't even know how many love stories there are. Okay, because I don't know the movie that well. Others do. I saw it once and I'm like, ugh. I trudged through it. You know, to trudge, that slow, long, weary walk of ugly. So I trudged through the movie. Loads of actors and actresses that are A-list celebrities right now, or at least in the 2000s into now, and all in love with something or someone. Love stories all around, and it was all during the holiday season. So I included it because I'm being a bigger person. Not my cup of tea, but ladies, it is a mega chick flick. I will say that. It is a mega chick flick. There's something there for everyone. And there's someone, by the way, there's someone there for everyone. You will find someone you like in that movie. A bunch of different characters to choose from, a bunch of different A-list celebrities to choose from, a bunch of different love stories to choose from, but you will find yours, okay? That's The Holiday, 2006. All right, now we're down to business. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew, okay, number 5. Now, I wrestle with, well, I wrestle too, but I wrestle with this and I wrestle with myself about this. I've gotten into arguments and quite literally had to knock somebody out one time because of it. I joke, I jest, but I'm not a jester. Number 5, in 1988, this guy who had found success in TV, wasn't well known, but found a good series to get attached to and made a name for himself, and then began to venture into movies. And those movies took the form of action, big budget action flicks. Watch where I'm going. You're going to see if you guys get this. Big budget action flicks. And became one of the 3 biggest action stars of the 80s and 90s. By far. Largely on the basis of this film here. Now you're sitting there saying, What are you talking about? SuperMex, what the hell are you saying? I thought you said it was a Christmas special. And it is. And it is. My number 5 greatest Christmas movies all time, 1988, Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Die Hard. Yippee-ki-yay. It is a Christmas movie. There is no argument. We are not debating. We are laying down fact. It is a Christmas movie, and it is a damn good movie. It's great. One of the great, definitely one of the greatest action flicks all time. But large consensus, it is a Christmas movie. It is on Christmas. Takes place during Christmas. The whole, especially, by the way, the music by itself, just the music, great Christmas music, great Christmas music, and great holiday cheer when it all wraps up and is done. You come out feeling like everything's going to be good. The world is good again because it's Christmas. And then I'll throw a little sidebar here. One of the greatest all-time villains, God rest his soul, gentleman's no longer with us, Alan Rickman, as Hans. Yippee-ki-yay. Yeah, one of the great all-time villains of cinema. I really do believe that he took that role to another level. And by the way, he's one of those old school, like, the English dude who you don't hear about, you don't know who they are until like 20s and 30s because they've been busy doing theater and serious business, probably in Britain and other places, and then they get major stardom once they come to the States. That's that guy. That's that guy. Oh yeah, and for those of you guys that are current generation, he also happens to be Professor Snape. He's like chuckling, right? And a whole bunch of other good movies. I saw that guy in a lot. He was a phenomenal actor. Anyway, but he was Hans with Bruce Willis in my number 5 all-time Christmas flick, Die Hard, 1988. Okay, so this top 4, I'm going to go to 4, and then the top 3 are a problem for me, and I'm going to explain to you in a second. So number 4, and it could very easily be a 1 or 2 or a 3, but I went with nostalgia and I went with depth. And I went to that deep well of meaning that has been a staple, because these others are like all-time classics going back many generations to the beginning of film and the very genesis of what good theater, good film was, good movies were. Okay, so number 4, great movie. It's a staple. It is one that I made sure that, my sons and daughter, I mean, they got to watch. And, some iconic lines and some iconic scenes that will never be forgotten, including the lamp and the leg and the tongue on the freezing pole in the middle of winter. So, A Christmas Story. A Christmas Story. That was 1983. Got it for you. A Christmas Story, 1983. Now, here's the trick. It was made in 83. But it depicted a different time. It depicted an earlier period, probably 50s, 60s, in that range. And, nostalgia, right, makes us good feel for that time and when things were a little different, maybe a little more simple about the way we approach things. But there's some stuff in that movie that I just never, the line, Kate reminded me because I was going to say it anyway, but you shoot your eye out, kid. You will shoot your eye out. Because growing up, that was the thing to do, is get a BB gun. You had to own a BB gun or a pellet gun if you were upgraded, but you had to have a BB gun, the Red Ryder BB gun. Then I talked about, the lamp that the dad got that was in the shape of a leg that the mom couldn't stand. The school scene where outside in the middle of winter, a metal pole, the kid puts his tongue on it because they double dog dared him. Who gets double dog dared anymore? We don't even dare anymore, but he got double dog dared. He put his tongue on the pole, and they ended up having to call the paramedics or the firefighters because, it ended up stuck to the pole. And if they would have ripped it off, that would have been his whole tongue. Just some crazy images, some crazy iconic thought in the film. Who can forget, the dinner ends up going bust, and they end up at a Chinese restaurant. Some really cool stuff. I can't remember the old actor's name, the mom and the dad, but they've been around forever. They were good actors all the way through. But just basic, a good look at nostalgically what we were, and just some stuff that was like all Americana, right? So A Christmas Story, 1983. 1983. Okay, so here we go. So this top three I've got here. This is all from a long time ago, and you'll see why. I hope some of you guys, if not all of you, have already watched all three of them, because they're kind of exemplars of the period back then, old Hollywood, and the type of actor and the type of director and the type of script and all of the good things that made a good classic flick. These are just good movies, period. They're not just good Christmas movies, but they happen to be just good movies across the board. All right, so this one's hard for me because I would like to make this one number one just for me. I can easily make it number one because it's just for me. But just a great tale, and I'll tell you why. So this one is 1954. 1954, Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney. That was a good-looking woman. That was a straight-laced, good-looking woman. Rosemary Clooney. Yeah, that Clooney. Before there was a Clooney, there was Rosemary Clooney. As a matter of fact, there would be no Clooney if there was no Rosemary Clooney, because she was quite literally A-list actress in Hollywood, old-school Hollywood, and then she has a nephew, and we know him as George Clooney now. Okay, but Rosemary Clooney. So Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, Rosemary Clooney, and a whole bunch of other great actors of those times in that time period. 1954, the movie is A White Christmas. Great song, classic song actually. And here's what I want to say about this one. Like, what really hits me about this one was the movie was about Christmas. Obvious, it's on my list, it's this list. But it's about two guys that end up leaving service. They were both Army guys. They were both in the service, both in the Army. They leave the Army. They just so happen to be singers. And so after they're out of the Army, after World War II, they come out and they entertain. They're entertainers. And they travel the country. They sing, they dance, they run a show. And they're all over the place, all over the country. They go to a small resort in Vermont. And the owner of the resort is their former CO, their commanding officer, a general. Commander of their division or brigade, whichever one it was. Don't know exact unit, can't remember. But their division in World War II, an old general. And he's the owner, obviously retired, he's a civilian. But his resort has fallen on hard times. Come to the rescue, because that's what you do at Christmas. And in the old days, you take care of people, you don't worry about how much money you're making. So Bing Crosby gets this crazy idea that they're going to move their show to the resort to help the general and get his resort back up on its feet and kicking butt. And it's a good story because it's doing the right thing, even when the right thing's not going to make money for you. There's a novel concept, right? Do what's right. Don't just worry about making money. Don't just worry about yourself. Take care of somebody else. What's that? You know what that is? That's Christmas. That's Christmas. And in my world, it should be Christmas every damn day. You should be thinking like that every damn day. That's how I feel. Sorry, but I do. So, 1954, A White Christmas, Rosemary Clooney, baby. All I want to say is Rosemary Clooney. Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, great story, all-time classic, great singing. And by the way, in those days, those types of movies, you couldn't get a role, watch this, you couldn't be in one of those flicks if you couldn't act, sing, dance. You had to be able to do all that. If you didn't, you probably didn't get the role. Nowadays, you can be whatever the hell you want, I guess. But back in those days, you had to be able to do all three. You had to, or else you wouldn't have got the role. And yes, Bing Crosby and Danny Kaye could sing. They could dance. They could act. They could do all of the above. They were that good. And that's the method, back then at least. And I know KP's kind of an old purist too. That's a respect for that time when those people had to do that minimum standard, or you didn't even get a look. You didn't even bother to get a look. That's why those damn movies are so good. Okay, so I'm moving on. 1954, A White Christmas. Now I'm going to kind of wrap up quick here because you probably know one or the other. As soon as I say both of them, you're going to know. But oddly enough, they were back to back. 1946 and 1947. So this is what I'm going to do. And I'm making a game time, in my world, a command decision on the spot. We're not going to have a 1 and a 2. We're going to have a tie for first. How about that? I cheated, but a good cheat. So we're going to have a tie for first of the top 2 movies because they really are interchangeable in thought and what you like. They're both that damn good. And they're both movies that kind of exemplify the holiday spirit, the holiday intent, the classic holiday movie. Great actors. Jimmy Stewart, come on. I mean, just, oh yeah, oh, and Maureen O'Hara. Maureen O'Hara was a goddess. That woman was gorgeous. I can go on and on. I'll halt and move forward. But here's the 2 movies I got. Tied for first place on SuperMex's all-time Christmas movies on my Christmas movie special for you tonight. It's a Wonderful Life, 1946, and Miracle on 34th Street, 1947. I'll leave it there because we're running out of time and I've got to try to get to that 1 hour, but I can be here all night talking about these 2 flicks. They are the quintessential, both of them, each in their own way, are the quintessential Christmas feel-good movies. And ladies and gentlemen, this is 46 and 47. This is a long time ago. We weren't even born, most of us anyway. If you were around at that time, nothing but respect and love for you because you're kicking hard. Wonderful Life, Miracle on 34th Street, great movies, the quintessential Christmas movie, either one of them, easily. And they'll remain on my top list probably for a long time. We'll do this again next year. We'll do another. And maybe we add another one. Maybe we move some around. I don't know. You see how they take the, stand the test of time. But these 2, they're interchangeable. You could say one's better than the other for different reasons. I could put, Maureen O'Hara up on number 1. But they're just that good. And that quality of filmmaking. From, I would say, a golden age of filmmaking back in the old school days. I mean, there's some really good stuff. Okay, so those are my movies. I will post these on the page. And this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so I've got 5 of you watching right now. 5 of you watching right now. If you are watching right now, I want you to post into the Facebook page, hello, I'm here, whatever you want. I'm going to take a look at this time because I'm going to rewatch the video probably tomorrow. I'm going to watch tonight. And 1 or 2 of you are going to get a free gift that I'm going to send through Amazon. Check that out because you're watching. And I absolutely appreciate the fact that you give me your time on Christmas Day. Yes, I'm taking the time and spending some money for good clothes to look good for you on Christmas Day, but I do absolutely appreciate the fact that you give me your time. So for those of you guys that watch later, watch this. For those of you that watch later, maybe into the weekend, maybe I'll let a few days go, I want you to go, because if you watched all the video, even if you didn't watch it tonight, I want you to send me a private message with the full list. There's 20, and I name them all. You don't have to give me the date, but just give me the full list of movies that I've given you tonight. And if you do that, I'll send you a prize to the first one that does that. So I'm going to send a couple prizes out tonight. For those of you that are here right now, and for those of you that watch later, send me the full list of movies, SuperMex's top 20 movies, Christmas special all time. And I will also send you, I think I'm going to send you some movies from that list. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you some movies from this very list so you can watch if you don't have it already. How's that? That's a great deal. That's a great situation because that's SuperMex Nation. We take care of our people. One of the most fundamental things you learn when you're in service and you're in the Army, your principal component in leadership is to take care of your people, even at personal cost. That's what I feel. That's what I believe. That's what I practiced over a lifetime. I always take care of my people before I benefit. And you know that because I'm a poor Mexican even still. I'm still poor. I always take care of those around me. I'm rich in other ways, just not financially. Okay, so I hope you guys had a great time tonight. I did. I put a lot of work into this, made sure it was good for you. Spend some money on some clothes for you so I can look decent on coming into your living room on this night. Tomorrow, we'll be back at roughly the same time, and we are going to do the top songs of 2019. There you go. I'll update you. Barbara, lady, I got number love for you. And since I know you've become a hardcore East Coast gangster rapper, I maybe even have a rap song for you. I might even have a rap song for you. But we'll do tomorrow, top 10 songs of 2019. Tomorrow night, special SuperMex date.
Friday night.
Be here.
Friday night, right?
No, tomorrow too, and Friday. I'm gonna do two. Thank you for. Okay, so KB's asking me
I just found out.
because I'm putting KP on the hook. If you can. So what we're trying to do is like tomorrow we'll do top songs of 2019, and then the plan is to get Austin Reed from Aubrey Road. No pressure. Want you on the show. To get Austin Reed of Aubrey Road, the young band, to come in Friday night, and we'll do top country songs of 2019. Okay, there's a full list for you, and then we'll have more going forward. But you guys heard what I said. Chance to win some prizes, that's always a good thing. Okay, so as before we go off, honestly and with sincerity, you guys know what I'm like. Those of you guys that have been with me a while, it's about taking care of your people. It's about taking care of the people around you. Most of you guys are home or with loved ones. Don't go anywhere tonight or tomorrow. Spend time with your loved ones. Spend time with your family. Do things and enjoy them. Enjoy them, because you don't get an opportunity to do that in the regular scope of a year. Years go so quick, and next thing you know, you're at the end and you're looking at a list of, oh, what happened this year? And we're there. So stop, like those little gnomes do. Smell the roses. Roses are smelling really good right now. Life is good, even with our ugly political climate and a whole bunch of other things. Yeah, I said it. Because it's true, and I do not lie. Enjoy your time with your family. I hope you enjoyed this list tonight. Go take a look at some of these movies. Some of you guys might be watching them tonight. But for those of you guys that were watching, listening, please take a look and listen. I have prizes for some of you that were watching tonight, and for those of you guys that will watch through the weekend. Okay, we're out. We'll be back tomorrow. SuperMex got nothing but love for you. Nothing but a Merry Christmas to you and yours. Thank you.